Okay, it's ready when you are.
Okay. Hello, my name is Cindel Burns, and I am a tutor in the Writing Center. And I just wanted to go over the conference abstract and proposal with y'all today, get the major points, so you feel a little more secure when you go to start on one. So the main things we'll be covering are why they're important, the CFP or call for papers, and then how they're different, the general contents of most proposals, the small variations between disciplines, tips, and then we can look at an example or two. So first of all, why are they important? In order to join your peers in academic discourse, that's a big thing. You get to bounce ideas off of each other, understand other people's methods and ideas, show off your skills, really good things to put on your CV, and enhance your potential for interviews since you're more used to them. And then, as I said, it's an opportunity for discussion and learning, and just it's a really great experience. So where to start? The first thing you want to do is find a CFP or call for papers that you are interested in, or that you might have done work in before, or already have a starting point, or something that interests you. And it gives several points of information. It'll give you the conference theme or topic, what the whole conference is centered around, the format that you're going to be presenting in, the requirements of the submission, and then they may or may not have options for money saving opportunities or other things that are available, and acceptance dates, processes, anything where they will be letting you know when you'll get information back. So first of all, the submission requirements, that would be the due dates of whenever the proposal is due, when your work is due, when the actual conference will be held, all that type of thing. And then it'll also tell you whether you'll be submitting a full paper, if it's a panel discussion, all of that information. And then a lot of them will also require a short biography or a copy of your CV to go along with the proposal. So with money saving opportunities, you may not be able to find them on the CFP. You may have to go to the organization or conference websites, but oftentimes there's travel compensation, reimbursements, awards you can apply to, mentoring programs where they help you develop what you're taking to the conference, or help you with your ideas. So it's a really good idea to look into this stuff and see what's out there, because saving money is definitely important, especially right now. So there's several different kinds of presentations that they may ask for. The traditional is probably more what you're used to hearing about or seeing, and it's usually a 15 to 20-minute paper, which is around 7 to 10 pages. And they're usually multiple presenters and then time for discussion. So that's probably more what you've seen or what your professors or things have mentioned, but that's not the only thing that may be required or option available. There's also roundtable discussions, which usually means there's more presenters, the presentations are shorter, and there's a lot more time for discussion as part of the presentations. Then there's also poster sessions, and that's where you prepare a poster or some sort of presentation, and it's sort of like a science fair. Everything's set up, and people circulate and look at each one and discuss when they feel like it. And then the final option is the short presentation, and it's usually around the 5-minute mark, a lot shorter than the others, but it varies from conference to conference on the exact time. So I have a couple of CFP resources here if anyone's interested. I'm just gonna go, I may have to stop sharing and share again because it's being difficult today. Can you see or is it still showing the presentation?
It's showing it.
Okay, good. Maybe it's straightened up. So this is just a database, and they have the different options for like areas of study. And let's see, let me just, since I'm an English education person, it'll give you a list in that subject for them. So this first one is a CFP for the International Journal of Humanities, Art, and Social Sciences. The deadline is past, but that doesn't really matter for this. So it gives you the deadline for submission, where the organization is, contact information, the scope, the topics of interest, and then more important dates. So this one, a lot of them won't give you specific requirements when it comes to formatting, but it's always good to check through everything and maybe go to the organization's website and stuff just to double check. Double checking information is always important. So, and then to go back. So this is a specific societies, but it does have their conference information down here. And here's the actual call for papers. I'm sorry, my internet is being very slow today. Okay. So the theme is reading minds, artificial intelligence, neural networks, and the reading human. So, and then it also shows they're seeking papers, panels, workshops, and creative work. So there's a lot of options for this conference. And then it gives the deadlines, where you submit information. So most call for papers are going to be along this format. Some give more information than others. Some leave out stuff and you have to go searching for it for yourself. But in general, they'll give you a lot of the information you need. So I guess we don't really. I'll go to one more of these just to. I just went through it manually. I'm sorry. So here is a CFP for the Literature and Popular Culture Association conference, and it gives the topic, what presentations they're looking for, and then this one actually includes the limits for the proposals. This one's only 250 words. So be aware for any information they give, because some do get really specific. And some, I mean, 250 is usually the pretty norm for most of them. So, okay. So what is the difference between an abstract and a proposal? So the abstract, it's useful to see it as part of the proposal and then also something completely separate. It's the summary portion, kind of what your work is about. It's also a lot of the programs and stuff of conferences. It's the only thing like your audience members are going to see. They're not going to see your whole proposal. So you want it to be succinct, make sure, it's easily understood, that it includes everything necessary for people to get people interested in your presentation. And then the proposal is what organizers or reviewers will look at to choose which presentations they're accepting. So it provides a complete outline of your plan, and it's not going to be seen by your audience. So just keep that in mind when you're writing the two. So, next section we're doing is the general proposal content. Exact guidelines vary by disciplines and conferences, but they all have these key elements. And it's frozen. There we go. So background information, relevant theories and research, questions the presentation will attempt to address, a thesis statement if you've written one already. Sometimes you will, because they can be so far apart, you might not have your actual paper or presentation written, so you may not actually have a thesis statement. And that's fine as long as the exact conference doesn't call for it in the proposal. And if so, then the background information and questions should suffice at that point in time. Some of them also allow you to update things further along in the process for that reason. So then your findings or your results, your conclusions, and the working bibliography, which isn't always required, but it's usually a good idea to have, whether it's required or not, but it's up to you. Okay, so the variations between disciplines, a lot of it is going to be very similar, but they may label them as different things, or they may not require as much information. Like I am in the humanities and English, and generally we don't focus on like exact answers, and instead we focus on discussion and exploration, connections, that type of thing. Whereas the sciences, oftentimes, they expect an actual experiment, methods, findings. They want concrete, actual results. So that's something to keep in mind. Keeps freezing. Okay. And then with nursing and education and things like that, there's also going to be extra requirements besides, findings and parameters. There may also be specific information like what your specialty area is, the age group, exactly who your audience should be for the experiment or implementations. And then with business and agriculture, that type of things, they could be either one. They may be more exploration, they may be more research, they may focus on specific conclusions and experiments. It really just depends on the conference. So you need to make sure you understand that in the application process. And then it may also require specific information like area of business, like the type of animal you're experimenting with or working with, and then customers, audience, who it's aimed towards, just like other areas. So again, be aware of what each conference is requiring and expecting. So tips and tricks for a great proposal. The 7 C's of a great proposal are a good way to remember, what a good proposal looks like. So concise, consistent, comprehensive, compliant, clear, cohesive, compelling, convincing, and correct. So you want to avoid unnecessary words and redundancies, just like all other types of writing. But it's particularly important with a proposal because you have so few words to get your information out there. Then make sure, as we've said, that you meet all the requirements, mention everything they want you to include your whole argument so audiences understand what it is you're trying to do. Just make sure that it's completely understandable. And then clear, make sure that each point is agreeing, that it makes sense. Cohesive, make sure it's well structured, and that your organization is there and makes sense. And then compelling, and this can be with all 3 parts. You want to show your reader's attention, show your reader why it's important, capture the attention. So not only will they choose your project, but that also your audience members will want to come and see your presentation. Then also convincing, credible, make sure that you have the supporting facts, the evidence you need, the sources you need to make it make sense and show that you know what you were talking about. And then correct, all the other types of professional writing. You want your content to be right. You want your grammar and spelling to be as correct as possible so that you seem as professional and prepared as possible. So one of these ways that you can do a lot of those is with the title of your paper or your presentation. You want it to be concise, generally aim for 10 words or less, and then be eye-catching or interesting to the reader or your audience, and then should describe your topic exactly. This is the first thing people are going to see, and if someone is skimming the program or something, it may be the only thing they see. So you'd want that to be as eye-grabbing as possible. So Um, Another tip is start early, remember all your due dates, and plan. There are so many options now, both in paper and electronic, where you can plan things, you can keep perfect records. Whatever works for you, just make sure that you know when everything is needed, how long you have, and all of that. So, here's just a few more tips. You want to balance each area so that, there's not 3/4 of your proposal is one section and then a sentence is another section. Use the active voice when possible, although this isn't always as required in the sciences and stuff like that because of the way experiments are set up. Try to get peers and mentors if it's possible to review, give you their thoughts, corrections, anything like that. Extra pairs of eyes are always excellent, and we do have the A-State Writing Center. If you ever need help, we are happy to provide that help. And then edit. It is, even the best writer, the best creator, presenter is always going to need to edit a lot. So I have a couple of proposal examples here, just to give you a frame context. This one is by David Perry, and it has this title, Wikipedia, the Universe in the Open Archive. So that is very succinct. We know he's talking about Wikipedia and how it connects to the university and the archive. And then as you notice, it's really not long at all. It's just 2 small paragraphs. And as I said, 250 to 500 words is very common. So you really have to get to your point in a hurry and include all the information as smoothly as possible. So this first paragraph is more of his introduction, explaining, Wikipedia and its roles and how it connects to universities. And then the second paragraph kind of goes into more the body of his work. And then he ends with his thesis. In this paper, I seek to expand on these changing borders with specific reference to the university's role as a guarantor of the authority of the archive. So, boom, anybody who reads this knows exactly what they're going to be learning about. So, there's actually a couple of different ones on this page. And this one has more of a information. It's an abstract proposal for the 22nd Annual Interdisciplinary 19th Century Studies Conference, and then his the date where it's being held, and then looking over one's shoulder, 19th century specters in 20th century context. So once again, you know exactly what this person is going to be talking about just from their title. And they have a working bibliography. With working bibliography, you're not expected to have, a full comprehensive list of every source you're going to be using, just the ones that you currently know for sure you're using and that, your work may be based on or, building from. So, and then their thesis statement: it is my hope that this exploration will reveal not only the spectral at work, but also strategies of resistance or exit. So right there, exactly what's happening in that meeting. So that's really succinct, smooth. And then here are some of the sources I used. There are a lot of information on the internet, but there's not really specific examples of like full proposals because audiences never see it. So just be aware of that if you start doing your own research, trying to find information to create your own. So thank you so much. Can I answer any questions, or was there anything you needed clarified?